So, this is it. Nazis are marching in the streets, businesses are shutting down, people are distressed and depressed all over the place. And through this entire series, I've been alluding to a solution. But what exactly is it that we've been talking about this whole time? What is it that we are actually saying? Unity, language, and visibility. That's what we're talking about here. These are the tools that you need to use to consolidate power. The far right wants you broken up and disjointed. Talking to people about socialist solutions builds alliances. Visibility gives you the sense of numbers, and good optics gains you more support. Numbers will give the public motivation to act, and a strong message will give them the strength for actual change. And finally, common language forms alliances. 99% of us are struggling while 1% hoard the wealth. That is an anchor that we can pretty much latch on to any single person that we talk to. You have to understand that populist messages for the majority lean left-wing, and we need solidarity between all people, not just on the left, but on the right as well, because it's going to take all of us to be able to make real change. At this point, I'd like to give a shout out to Bo from the 5th column. He turned me on to Rule 303. Rule 303 is, if you have the might at hand, you have the responsibility to use it. Our collective knowledge is our might in this situation. We have a responsibility to tell the public what we know and to get them to help themselves. We need to be prepared, and up until now we haven't been, and this is inevitably just going to get worse. We have talked for years about every single problem that the economy, that society, that industry has, and up until now few people have offered anything in the way of a solution. Well, here's your solution. My proposal is a passive solution called the mass line, and I know a few of you out there already know where I'm going with this. The mass line is the primary Marxist method of revolutionary leadership of the people. And to achieve a mass line, you have to have mass perspective. Mass perspective means recognizing the masses are themselves the only force which can revolutionize society, and the masses have to discover these revolutionary goals through their own struggles, while socialists like us are here to help guide them. So how do we get mass perspective? Number 1, understand who your audience is and what they want. Number 2, focus on sparking action, not just raising awareness. And number 3, achieve specific results. Talk with regular people, neighbors, co-workers, friends, family. Discover what issues they have in these troubling times. It may be economic, environmental, financial, etc. These issues may be vague or confused or disjointed, but it's our job to focus the topic onto a strong message or a line. For example, they may be angry that immigrants are flooding into the country from overseas. Now, this obviously isn't possible and very wrong, but you have to look past the propaganda. Immigrants are a scapegoat. It's a code word for a real issue. Maybe they feel like they're losing something. Maybe it's job security or personal safety or something along those lines. Take the conversation away from immigrants and find a solution to the root problem. If job security is actually the issue, you could explain to them that capitalists are the ones that are encouraging migration and they're the ones hiring them. There isn't any sense in blaming somebody that has no money and no power. Or maybe they are worried about personal safety or terrorism, and you can change that to reflect that capitalists are the ones that create the conditions for those situations to happen, be it underfunding schools or not having proper drug coverage that allows for people to end up on the streets addicted to drugs. Find an anchor that appeals to them and work off of that. Our goal is to find a socialist solution. So now that you've got it into their mind that it isn't about immigration, it's about job security. Well, a very simple socialist solution to job security is worker co-ops. Allow the workers to have the vote so they don't have the chance of losing their jobs to automation, immigration, or consolidation of a fucking monopoly. Another social-ish solution would be to tax multinational corporations and big businesses properly and then take that money and invest it in local businesses. And if the problem is personal safety, then simply instituting something as simple as a living wage or debt elimination or universal drug coverage would allow the impoverished people who are committing crimes to get out of poverty so they wouldn't have to commit crimes. It's a simple socialist solution, something that is able to be put onto a banner and marched for. Of course, we revolutionaries should genuinely try to help the masses with their daily struggles, but that is not the main reason for our existence as revolutionaries. Our work towards satisfying the long-term needs of the masses is even more important than our work could ever be in support of their immediate and temporary interests. Remember, do not let the ends justify the means, but never value the means at the expense of the ends. I reiterate, focus less on how we should go about things and more on what things we should go about. If we're talking about solutions and not the process, then people will want to join us. If we're only talking about process, then people will have no interest. Okay, so before I conclude part 1, there are 3 points that are left to be said, and those go as follows. Marches, rallies, sit-ins, and protests will happen by themselves, so we need the masses to be informed before they take to the streets independently. 2. We need to be involved in any and all demonstrations as possible to gain allies and support. 3. It is important for us to organize actions of our own. In the next video series, we're going to be talking about direct action advanced, sit-ins, walkouts, protests, and state violence. Thanks for watching.